Welcome to another edition of the Shoegazing podcast with me, Jesper Ingvaldsson of shoegazing.com, one of the leading blogs in the world on quality shoes. In this episode, I talk with Rezső Kuti of the Hungarian brand Vass Shoes, certainly the most famous shoe brand of the country, who've been making hand-welted, fully handmade shoes since the 1970s. Rezső worked as a sales manager for the company for about a decade and built up its internationally successful MTO program. He then spent a couple of years as factory manager for Heinrich Dinkelacker's Budapest factory and started the brand Passus Shoes, before rejoining Vass as a sales consultant about 1.5 years ago. We of course talk a lot about Vass, about the reasons for the brand's fame around the world, about the massive challenges that the COVID situation has put them in, and how they run a lot of sales simply to not have to lay off their shoemakers and staff, and a lot of other things. But also about the Hungarian quality shoe business in general, with a long heritage and a characteristic style as a base, where most still do everything all by hand. So enjoy the listen. Rezső Kuti of Vass Shoes, a warm welcome to the Shoegazing podcast.
Hi Jesper, thanks being here.
Happy to have you on board on this chat. So I thought, as we often do on this podcast, we'll start a bit with the background. And so first of all, I mean, how did you end up in the shoe industry?
That's a tricky question. You know, I met Mr. Vass in 2007. I used to work in the wine scene, in the wine industry, and he came to buy wines from me, actually. Yeah, and we've been in contact for more than a year when he decided to ask one thing, whether I can join him at Vass. I said, I don't have anything to do with shoes, so I obviously knew him, and I knew that he has this shop and he's world famous by then, and I tried the shoes on even because I saw the shop. I've been in the shop, so I was in the picture, let's say, but I thought I have nothing to do with the shoes. But he said, no worries, you will learn it, you are a flexible, cool guy, so yeah, let's give it a try. So yeah, why not? Okay, I decided to try it, and I became first sales guy at Vass shop at the old shop in the downtown of Budapest in 2008, and then we started this journey in 2008, and it was quite interesting. You know, people with nice suits and shirts, and they've been looking for great shoes. So it was just okay. So I started to work, and I quite liked this thing. And then I said, okay, if I'm here, then I need to learn more and more. So I went to the workshop each week, once or twice, and started to learn how and what we do and make with the shoes. And started to pay attention to other shoemakers like Crockett & Jones and Edward Green, Italian shoemakers, you know, in France, Cote and the others. So I visited the websites. I tried to catch up with the things, and this is how it started in 2008.
Yeah, and then you became sales manager, sort of responsible for sales after a few years?
Yeah, after a few years, so let's say 1.5 or 2 years later, Eva, the daughter of Mr. Vass, she asked for some help, and I tried to help her also to answer the emails beside the shop. So I tried to answer for everybody on time through emails, and I pretty soon realized that people were looking for something different, you know, because obviously everybody had this almost the same collection, the classic shoes, Oxfords, Brogues, Derbies, whatever, maybe different colors, but at the end almost the same shoe. So there've been really just minor things, and the people asking for, is it possible to do this or do that? And I said, yes, why not? We can do it. And that was the start of our made-to-order program, because a couple of months later, we decided to make an exact program to run up this thing, and we talked with Eva and Mr. Vass together how and what to do, and I said people are asking for more and more details, and they are interested in the shoes, and they want to know more. So we said yes, okay, let's do made-to-order shoes by hand, obviously, and that was the start.
Yeah, because you've been really part of building up the international presence of Vass Shoes. That's right.
It's far too kind. I think Vass was already well known because of Isatan and other guys, and it was just the cream on the top that we started made-to-order shoes by hand for a reasonable price, and but later on we've been focusing very much on these things. So we built up a new website in 2014, and there was more information about the shoes and how and what to do with the made-to-order program, how you can ask for more details.
Yeah. And what would you say is it that have made Vass popular?
That was Mr. Vass, his talent and the team. Because he thought in the 90s that he should return back to the roots, to the old classic Budapest shoes made by hand, the classic Budapest last, the classic Budapest models, and we have had a lot of customers from, especially from Germany, Austria, Switzerland, businessmen mainly. They bought our shoes, and back on those days, he was working together with Hugo Boss or Alessarini, so big names and big chains. At the end, there was Isatan Mans from Japan. When we've been working together with Roberto Golini from Firenze, from Florence, and they made great lasts and great models together with Mr. Vass, and I think that was that next step on this in this story.
Yeah, because then Vass took a step towards more modern international look.
This more contemporary lasts and designs. And then I arrived, and we started to do all the things online. So answering emails and trying to sell from California to Indonesia, everywhere shoes. People were asking for made-to-order shoes, and I tried to help him with the right size, and then we discovered how to ship quickly. And you came also with the shoegazing.
Yeah, you were part of the first super trunk shows in Stockholm, where we didn't really know what it would end up being, and it turned out crazy.
That was a great step forward, because obviously it was a jump into the dark. We did not have any trunk shows before, and we did not. We just went to Stockholm without anything, and we thought, okay, we will meet some guys, we will meet you, and maybe one or two clients, and then we saw Stockholm, your great city, and and it turned out it was just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, we were hoping for if it came 200 people during the day, we would be very happy. It was Mermin, Vass, and Mafte shoes, and some shoe shining contests and all that. But and then it came, I think it was 700 or something like that, if I remember. Yeah. And it was just crazy. I've never seen people so tired at the end of the day as you at Vass and the Mermin guys. But it's been great, and it's been the Super Trunk show has been growing to something that I didn't really at all expect at that point. So
wrote a great article about Vass back in those days. I can remember. So it was like a guide how to buy
the
shoes
buyer's
from
guide.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and it helped us really a lot because I just copied that link for everybody and said, this is the way how you should do it. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Good. So, what was the main challenges during those years to when you built up the MTO and all that?
Yeah. It was just learning by doing, So it was not a direct thing, just you have heard questions and was thinking on the answers always. And I'm a positive guy, so I tried always to answer yes, it's possible, yes, it's possible, yes, we can do it. So yeah, that was pretty much that, how we managed this thing.
Yeah.
And it was great that we have had a great team. So, there was Eva, who helped me really a lot, and Mr. Vash, who was really open to all the changes. And guys at the workshop, yeah.
How big is the workshop for those who don't know?
Okay, with the guys, there is, let's say, 20 people.
And most parts they do. You have your closers, and then you have makers who do sort of the whole shoe themselves, so to speak.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really a factory in the same sense. It's more like a bunch of separate workbenches.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we got a small room for cutting, for the design, next to the finishing department. Let's say 2-3 guys, and we have the shoemakers in 2 small, not small, but I think it's small rooms. 3 actually. So, and the ladies at the shop. Yeah, that's all. That's the team.
Yeah, cool. So, and then after many years with Vass, you won a new challenge and became factory manager for Heinrich Dinkelacker. How was that?
Yeah, that's an interesting story again. I met gentlemen from Shoe Passion, the owners of Shoe Passion, and back in those days, purchased. There was a buyout. They bought Dinkelacker, and the Dinkelacker had the workshop in Budapest also. Shoe Passion shoes are made in Portugal, in Spain, and Italy, and they bought Dinkelacker, and the workshop was in Budapest, and they came to the shop. We met with these gentlemen, and a couple of months later, they thought we should do something together, and they asked me if I can join their team, and I was after to learn more and more things, and I said my heart was bleeding to leave Vass, and but I thought I need to learn, and I thought I need some, let's say, fresh air and to see different things and so on. And I said, okay, let's try it. And but for sure, we talked about this with Mr. Vass and Eva, and during this, let's say, 2.5-3 years, we've been in contact in each month. We spoke on the phone, and so it was not like a stop and forget each other. So
yeah, because you were with Dinkelacker for a while, and then you also spent some time starting the Hungarian Romanian brand Passus Shoes.
Passus Shoes, yeah.
Yeah, that must have been interesting to set up something new.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Because Dinkelacker, that was a big adventure to me. But they decided to move everything to Spain to focus their production there, and then I think, okay, let's step forward, and all I've learned need to be manifested into something new, and I thought that's the right time to set up a new adventure and start Passus Shoes with Gábor Halmos and his brother.
Yeah.
And we we started our workshop in Transylvania. This is there are still Hungarian people, Hungarians. I've been several times there, and I met cool shoemakers there. They've been very open to start something new, and after a while we decided, yeah, let's try this, and we started to develop 2-3 new lasts and models. Yeah, that was the beginning of Passus, yeah.
Yeah, and you were there for a while, but then you were sort of lured back to the Vass shoes again, to the original place, so to speak. So you almost got started again with Vass when the pandemic hit the world. So how has this past year been for you?
Oh, it was like a roller coaster. Sometimes up, sometimes down, more bad days, obviously, because of the lockdowns and let's say the darkness. You know what will happen next day, and without any new influence. Because before that, we've been traveling. We flew to London, to Sweden, to Florence, to everywhere, and then I met a lot of guys, influencers, bloggers, shoemakers, merchants, and we've been discussing all the things about shoes, and there was a lot of motivation and new input, and but the pandemic hit us. I thought it will just a couple of months. And that's all. And but no, obviously not. So it's still not over yet. And that's why the last year was pretty much a roller coaster. Sometimes sometimes I thought it will be much easier. Sometimes I have had less input, and I thought it's not so good. I wasn't depressed, but yeah, it was very tough for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, and for the sales with Vass, I mean, you are obviously had a lot of customers in your two shops in Budapest, and now no tourists, which were important for you. Must have been a hard hit on sales.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. Yeah, we needed to close the shops, both, and also not just because of the pandemic, but there was tourists, as you said. So then nobody was flying, and so no tourists, no visitors, and so we decided to focus on the web shop, the web sales.
Yeah, and you've been sort of running quite a lot of sales during the year to sort of save jobs.
That's correct. Yeah, Mr. Vass decided right at the beginning of the pandemic that he will keep all the workers, no matter how much it costs and how long does it take. He will keep all the people because he felt that he's responsible for these families, and obviously we've been working together with some of the people like 40 years, or 30 years. So then we've been very successful, and we've been in the sky, then they also joined the benefits.
Yeah.
So we need to give back everything to these guys, and we shouldn't stop the workshop and close the workshop or fire other guys or colleagues, So he decided to work despite all the problems, and obviously you produce the shoes, you need to sell them, because if you just produce, then you will have at the end 3, 4, 5,000 pair of shoes on stock. So that's not possible.
So how is it? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel now, or?
Pretty much, yes. Let's say we think that we are almost over on the worst part, and we think that everything won't return back soon. So let's say next year in 22, maybe it will be easier. But for sure now, it will be a touch easier because it will be summer and it's summertime and people are going out. So we will see some tourists maybe, or we can fly and meet people or do something else. We reopened the shop 2 weeks ago, the 1st of May, actually 2nd of May. So the shops are open and you can pass by and buy shoes, try them on, bring your old shoes back for repair or new polish, whatever. So yeah, we are positive that will be better.
Yeah. We all really are longing for a more normal days for sure. So let's talk more about the quality shoe industry in Hungary in a wider sense. I mean, it has its base in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And for those who don't know, how would you describe this type of shoes?
It's an interesting thing. We have the classic Budapest last, which is a pretty robust and strong last, with a higher toe box and really strong, massive sole. And then the classic shoes have been made with geyser weld all around, so it's more casual these days. Compared to the new modern shoes, new classic shoes like the Oxfords and so on. We have now more sleek last and more contemporary last, but we have this classic heritage still.
But the fact that the classic Budapest shoes and the old Austro-Hungarian style is very, like you say, heavy and often, I mean, double soles, sometimes even triple soles. Was it for them to be really durable and that they needed to last for a long time, or?
Yes, that's right. That's correct. Yeah. The shoes were made under something like 8 up to 12 weeks. So it took a long time for a shoemaker to finish a quality handmade shoe, and he wasn't able to make 100 or 200 pairs. So the people was not that rich to buy new shoes each month. So if you bought a pair of shoes, it should last long, obviously. And the streets they've been all made by stones. The shoe should be durable. So double, triple soles and the geyser weld.
Yeah.
That helped to be a very massive shoe.
Yeah. And I mean, in most parts of the world, machines have sort of taken over large parts of the shoe production, also for welted footwear, etc. But in Hungary, the shoe industry has kept doing things by hand. What's the reason for this, would you say?
So the fact is that we have had also, and we still have some factories in Hungary. Obviously, they are making cheaper shoes for its mass production. So they are making shoes for big chains. In certain cities, like in Budapest, we still have a couple of good shoemakers because people do have a need to have. It's not a need, but they would like to have good shoes, made by hand, something which is better.
Yeah, but also, I mean, also factories like with Dinkelacker's factory and other pretty large places that still do things by hand to a larger extent than in many other countries.
Yes, but at the end, when I've been working for Dinkelacker, I was able to compare these things with Vass, and at the end, Dinkelacker we finished almost the same quantity as Vass, so there wasn't a huge production at all. So there wasn't like 10,000, 13,000 per year. So we been going down with the production numbers to 5,000-6,000 pairs a year at top. So versus Vass with let's say 3,500 pairs, something like so. There haven't been that many shoemakers at the workshop of Dinkelacker because it's really hard to find shoemakers these days. We closed the last schools in 1994, so it's something like 27 years ago. We closed the schools. So anybody who wants to learn now to be a shoemaker should join either us or somebody else to learn it, because there are no schools at all. And at the factories there are of course qualified people, but they are working next to a machine. They don't have to work with their hands, so they are hopefully expert in some phases of the production, but here at Vass, for example, everybody can make a shoe from the start to the end. So
during the communist years, how was the shoemaking knowledge kept alive in the country?
I think back in those days, the system, the socialism has have had a small backdoor, let's say, and it was open for almost everybody who wants to run a small workshop. So one or two people, can work together and make something in small quantity. Just like Mr. Vass, he started in 1978, and alone with his friend, and so there was the only way to survive this, and obviously some workshops been alive for during these 45 years, especially let's say in Budapest. There have been quite a lot who was working for people who wants to have good, real handmade shoes. But after the fall of the regime in 1989, 1990, 1991, many people arrived from abroad, and they saw that this tradition is still alive here, and for reasonable prices, and the quality, the craftsmanship was top, so that was no question at all. The only problem was the quality of the materials. I mean the leather, the uppers, because the tanneries are in France, in Italy, in Germany, and so on, and you couldn't buy good quality stuff. And but after the changes in 1990, 1991, it was allowed to travel, and we've been traveling. So actually, Mr. Vass was traveling, and he was able to buy better things.
So then you had the skill to make the shoes, and then you also got access to the material, and with that two together, and also relatively low wages, meaning good prices, it's bound for a success, so to speak.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Because I mean, today Vass and many other brands, as we talked a bit about, have developed towards a more continental style. Do you think this has been important for the international success of Hungarian shoes?
Yes, I think yes, that was important, absolutely, and the fact that we've been learning a lot still during these days, during these years, we learned a lot, and we've been able to change. As the market was changing and the people were changing, we was also changing, and we've been able to be up to date. That was one key thing, I guess. That the next generation after Mr. Vass is Eva, and she's been also into this project, and she has made a lot of changes also, and helped a lot in these changes, and also obviously Mr. Vass was always open to new things.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we have to mention the famous book that Lars of us wrote together with Magda Molnar, the Handmade Shoes for Men, as it's called in English. I mean, it must have been hugely important for Vass shoes and for Hungarian shoes in general, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. in these years, Vass was traveling a lot to Germany, and he met Könemann, Mr. Könemann, who been the owner of this publishing house, and he been talking about shoes, and Mr. Vass told him that it will be a great thing to write a book, and Könemann absolutely supported him and said, okay, you are a great master and you know a lot about shoes and how to, so you should write a book, and they made it happen. And first it was published by Könemann, and it was quite a great success in the German-spoken languages, and they printed in several languages, as far as I know, in 14 different languages.
Yeah, we have it in Swedish.
yeah, that's correct.
But I mean, it must have been sold in lots of copies. Do you know how many approximately?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
But if we talk about the original Budapest style, how popular are those in Hungary today? The classic Hungarian styles?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not that popular.
No.
It's not that popular. So if you are a shoe aficionado, then for sure you will have a pair of it in your collection. That's for sure. And some people are wearing still daily. I mean, not the same shoes, but they are wearing daily these Budapest style shoes. But most of them, especially the next two generations, are not wearing at all. So they are very more contemporary shoes. The designs, the colors are different. So they all, when they arrive at the shop, they're grabbing for it, and they looking at it, and they think, oh, that's a nice shoe. It's massive, it's nice, and very comfortable. But you wear sleek suits, or you would like to be a well-dressed man, then you will definitely look for a different kind of shoe.
How is it for your international customers? Is it popular style there?
Yeah, in Japan.
In Japan, yeah.
These shoes are really well known in Japan, and we've got a customers still in Germany and Austria, in Switzerland, or even in the United States, whom are asking these lasts and these models. Definitely, they're asking for. Got several clients from the past 14 years. They are still insisting to have the same last, same design.
Yeah. And I mean, now we see sort of more of a casual style coming. Do you think that sort of the old Hungarian Budapest styles will sort of be revived to a larger extent as well, or what do you think?
I think it is like the music, the pop music. Everybody returned to the 80s.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Hopefully, there will be a revival of these shoes also. So maybe next year, a couple of years later, somebody will come and say, "Oh man, this is great," and he will make it popular again. Or some there are several designer houses or designers worldwide who are looking for interesting things, and they're making things then popular. So maybe a couple of years later, Prada or Gucci, or I don't know, somebody will conquer this model again and say, "Oh, that's the hit." So
yeah. How is the interest in classic shoes in Hungary today, would you say?
There is obviously a lot of cool guys who are interested in shoes. Yeah, there are a lot of younger people who are interested in handmade shoes. They trying to be up to date in a positive way. So they are coming to the shop, and they are asking for me to order shoes. They are asking for certain colors or last designs, but made by us or other shoemakers in Budapest. We are not that many. Let's say there are 3-4 good shoemakers in Budapest at the moment. Some of them are running just a really tiny shop with one or two co-workers, so they are really small, and but there is still an interest.
And you mentioned before that the shoemaking schools have stopped, and it's difficult to find skilled persons. How do you work to sort of have the craftsmanship survive, and for you to continue once the older generation will retire?
It's a tough question, and it's a really tough thing because it's really hard to find people who wants to join us and who have enough patience to learn this, and because it won't happen from next day to other. It needs really a lot of time.
Yeah.
For sure. For example, in 2012. Attila joined us. He was a young guy back in those days, and he said he is interested to learn how to make good shoes, and he started to work with us. It took him a couple of years to be, let's say, an expert, and he's still, let's say, young, and he's working with us. So we are lucky enough, and we are well known enough to find people who are still interested in this thing and wants to learn this thing. Obviously, we have had a couple of guys who gave up.
Yeah.
And decided to quit off shoemaking and to work something totally different thing on a different field. It's life.
Yeah.
But I'm really positive that we will find always guys who are interested to learn this really nice craftsmanship.
And I mean, in today's globalized world, the competition is more fierce than ever, and we also see other countries from, for example, Asia and some from South America, offering low-priced handmade shoes as well. How should the Hungarian shoemakers work to stay competitive and successful?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've been thinking on this for a couple of years because I paid attention that market is also developing, and I saw there are several. I couldn't remember, but it's a big number now. By now, the good shoemakers in Asia, in Japan, in Korea, in China, Singapore, whatever. So there are really a lot of good shoemakers with really nice designs and really nice shoes. It's a tough thing to be competitive. Obviously, we need to focus on our work for sure, and spread the word that it's made by us here in Hungary, in Europe. We have had a really long tradition, and just like Mr. Vass, the whole story has been started in 1978, and other shoemakers started, let's say, in England in 1899 or 1907, 1906. So we have a long story, a big heritage, and I think we can build up things on it, on our heritage. That's one thing, and the second thing is that we are here, and people can fly to us in an hour or two, visit our shop, workshop, and then they will see this thing personally. So I think that's a big advantage. One part of the historical thing, and the second that we are available all the time here, and it's made by us here in Europe. I think that's the thing that we should focus on.
Yeah. All right, Rezső Kuti of Vass Shoes, thank you very much for being part of the Shoegazing podcast.
I thank you to invite me.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for listening in on this episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, please give it a good rating or comment in your podcast player. The Shoegazing Podcast will be back with a new episode in a short while, so hear you again soon.